Hey road trippers, we're in Utah at Bryce Canyon National Park, and we're going to show you all of the overlooks ranked in this video. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jason with Road Trippin' with Takis, also known as RWT Adventures. We're starting at the furthest point in the park, that's Uvimba Point. This parking lot will also give you access to Rainbow Point. We've ranked this overlook number 9, that's out of 15. In this video, we'll be jumping around since we'll be going in order from the furthest point to the front of the park. The hike to Uvimba Point is a nice easy walk along part of the Bristlecone Pine Trail. We have other videos of day hikes in the park that you absolutely should check out. One of the things that makes this overlook great is there's a bristlecone pine at the end. And not only that, the views are really nice here. All of the overlooks are great in this park, but we did have to put some higher than the others. This one gives you a unique view of the furthest point in the park, and the trail curves around so you have other perspectives as well. If you have small children, just keep in mind there are a few open areas. You need to watch them, but this point also has a shaded spot where you can rest. We're going to continue on this trail until we get to Rainbow Point, which is up next. Where did we rank this overlook? It's number 8. At the end or beginning of the Bristlecone Pine Trail, these are some of the views you'll get on this trail. There's also another shade structure over here in case you get hot on your hike. So relax, take advantage of it, and enjoy these views. And keep in mind, these spectacular views haven't even cracked our top half of the rotation of 15. There's a nice open area with plenty of room, and here's Allison right out at the point. It's a great spot to just chill out, relax, and take in all of the scenery. And we're headed in that direction off in the distance. All right, it's time to get back to the parking lot. Next up, this is Black Birch Canyon, and we ranked this overlook as number 15. The walk is short from the parking lot, and there's a small overlook area. The views aren't quite as grand over here. If you go to the other side of the overlook, this is what you see, and there's a tree blocking the view in the middle. So if you have to skip any of the trails in the park, definitely this would be one to miss if you're limited on time. Just a bit down the road is Ponderosa Point, coming in at number 14. We think the views are a little bit better here than Black Birch, but not much. As you can see, there's another tree in the middle, and it partially blocks your view as well. This is kind of like a small amphitheater area. There is a much grander one a little bit further up the road that you'll absolutely want to see. The parking lot is pretty big here, but there were just about no cars here. So again, if you're pressed on time, you can skip this one. Just a short drive up the road is our next stop, Agua Canyon, coming in at number 12. The viewing area here is pretty wide, so there's enough space for a reasonably sized group. This small amphitheater area has a couple of landforms that are pretty interesting, and you'll see some from the other side of the viewpoint as well. This one was ranked lower because of all the trees that block the views. When we visited, this connecting trail was closed. It typically goes to the Under the Rim Trail. That's alright, because our next stop is pretty highly ranked. It's none other than the Natural Bridge. You'll notice this is a pretty crowded spot, and we definitely recommend you check it out while you're here at Bryce. That's why we ranked it at number 5. If you can't make it down to Arches National Park, Natural Bridge has a pretty cool arch here. If you walk down in this direction, you'll get another perspective of the arch, and again, you're in a little bowl/amphitheater area. But this time you have a pretty cool landform to look at. Always remember to stay at the overlooks. And as far as the parking area goes, this one is really big, and that's because it's so popular, but not so much right now for some reason. All right, it's on to the next one, and it's Fairview Point, coming in at number 11. This one's overlook is a little more spread out, but this is the main view. As you can tell, most of the landforms are off in the distance, but it's a nice unique look from here. If you walk down a little bit further, you'll notice a little seating bench. We always recommend you check out different perspectives because you never know what you're going to see from another side. And it looks like we preferred the other perspective. So we're going to head back and look at the other side of the overlook. Keep your eyes peeled while you're here. You might just see some California condors flying in the sky. As you'll notice, they also have trash cans, and this is a great spot to stop if you have to use the restroom. You'll notice on the park map, it's right at the edge. We're getting ready to flip the page to the next side of the park map. And coming in at number 10 is Piracy Point, a very short drive from Fairview Point. And this marks the start of the other side of the map. What we love about this overlook is the hike. It's a little walk through the woods on a flat, well-graded dirt path. If you need a break from the sun, you'll enjoy this trail. We loved all the shade here and the beautiful pines. I'd say the views here are pretty similar to the last ones we just saw. The fact that you walk through the woods to this overlook makes this a much more tranquil viewing experience. They have fencing along the way, so just follow it all the way around and enjoy these spectacular views. If you follow the entire length of the fence, there will be spots where the trees get in the way, but that's okay because at the very end, there's another nice view. In most other places in our country, this would rank much higher than where we have it on this list. If you have little kids, be careful, the fence line ends. When you're done, just follow the trail back. It's only a couple-minute walk. And we're on to our next one. Coming in at number 13 is Swamp Canyon. This one is separated from Bryce Point by a few miles. And this is what the view looks like. You can see you're in a smaller canyon area, and as far as the actual viewpoint goes, there is a round area for a decent amount of people to stand. And if you go a little bit further down, there's not much to see here. The main purpose of this area is that it connects to other trails. So if you're in a hurry, this is one you can probably skip. The next one though, you're definitely not going to want to skip. We're going to make a right-hand turn, and we're going to head all the way down to Bryce Point. This is one of the most crowded areas in the park, but that's okay because we rank this one number 1 since it's debatably the most spectacular area in the park. As you walk, you'll notice some of the early views rival a few of the views ranked 10, 11, 12, and 13. Just keep on going to the actual overlook and they're going to get better. This is where you'll want to start if you're doing the peekaboo hike as well. We've done all the day hikes in the park and we rank this hike very highly. So check out that video if you get a chance. There are a few small overlooks along the way to the actual point, and as you can tell from this view, it's going to be a great view. Walking a little further, you'll notice the guardrails along the way. Here's our first view from the amphitheater from the left-hand side. Not bad, but we can do better. You'll also see the trail is well paved here. If you have strollers or are in a wheelchair, they have little pullouts if you're not able to make it down the slope. But if you have help or if you're able to manage, keep on going. The view is definitely worth it. Almost there. What makes this viewpoint amazing is this big peninsula that gives you a 360 perspective of all of the hoodoos. And here's a nice view of just the left-hand side. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. We stood here for quite a while just staring out at the spectacular landforms. Here's your view from the right-hand side. Notice the different rock colors. And this is your view of the right center. Just straight on, it looks absolutely spectacular. And we rank this viewpoint number 1 because we love the accessibility for all people to see this wonder. All right, we're headed to our next stop and we're driving to the left. Let's take a look at Pariah View. This overlook is closed in the winter, so take advantage of access to our number 7 selection the rest of the year. After walking a short distance, you start to have nice views. It's less than a mile from Bryce Point, but gives you access to a totally different canyon area. Off in the distance, you'll see landforms jutting upward, and you'll find evidence that the area has been carved out by water, with the stream below. Surprisingly, there were not a lot of people over here. We only saw 2 other people here as we walked the entire length. Just keep pressing onward and the views get even better. There's a nice mixture of shade trees along the walkway and guardrails most of the length. Actually, make that 3 other people in the area. Regardless, it was pretty quiet here and it makes for a great spot to escape the crowds. As you get closer to the end, you'll find a nice walkway roundabout area to stand, and there's a sign about soundscapes. And yes, this area is really quiet. So stop for a little bit and take in the peacefulness of this part of the park. All right, we're headed back. Along the way, there are some benches, but you're gonna love our next spot as we make our way to the right. We debated a long time on putting this at number 1, but coming in at number 2 with easy bus access back in the main amphitheater is Inspiration Point. And we haven't talked about elevation yet, but if you've never been at this height before, take your time and take it slow if you get out of breath. We rank this one a little lower because of the amount of crowds, so please be mindful of other people while you're on the trails. You can access part of the rim trail from here, And this is what the views look like from the lower point. Pretty stunning if you ask me. There are a couple of other areas you'll want to walk to check out other vantage points, and I'd say they're all equally amazing. You could spend a lot of time here. But now we're going to take you to the upper viewpoint area. The sidewalk disappears, and now you're on a gravel path. There is some elevation to it, as you can see, the slope, but it's not that hard, honestly. Go slow if you get out of breath, and you'll eventually come to your first viewpoint up here. Just like at Bryce Point, you'll see rock layers of different colors, and the views are absolutely magnificent. They have benches for you to rest on, and we spotted a couple people doing this.
Hey dude, it's not a trail, dude.
They do have designated trails here. I feel like it's everyone's duty to help out and keep our parks well maintained so that the volunteers and the staff don't have to do additional erosion control. If you'd like to see the kind of work they do, check out our Peekaboo Loop Trail video, and you'll see the tough work they do maintaining these trails. You can continue along the rim trail to the right or continue left to the upper inspiration point. It's a short walk from that intersection, and these are the amazing views you see up here. This is one of the reasons why we keep coming back to this park. We suggest you take your time, relax, and just look out for a while. Alright, it's time to head back. Here's another quick reminder to stay on the trails. The path is easy to follow. Just follow the fence line if you're having trouble navigating. We're back at the truck, and we're heading to the next overlook. These are also in the amphitheater, and they're going to look a little bit different because we shot them in the morning. The first up at number 3 is Sunset Point. But yes, this is a sunrise. We filmed this a couple of years earlier when we did several hikes in the park. You can get these views along the Rim Trail or as part of the Navajo/Queen's Garden Trail loop. You can walk a little closer to the rim along the dirt path, or you can walk on the sidewalk. As far as the map goes, here is Sunset Point, and this is the start of the Navajo Trail. If you like stargazing and astrophotography, you're definitely going to want to check out our night hike that we did, where Allison and I took some shots of Thor's hammer and other features down below. And coming in one spot below at number 4, which we had a tough time deciding between the two since they're so close by, this is the Sunrise Point, and we did this as part of the Navajo/Queen's Garden Trail loop. These views of the amphitheater are equally stunning to the last one you just saw, and also like the last one, it gets pretty crowded over here because of all the hikers down below. We recommend you walk a little bit along the rim trail, stop at some benches and sit down and relax, and enjoy the paved trail as well. You really can't go wrong with either Sunrise or Sunset Point, so walk the entire distance if you have the ability to. You won't be disappointed with any of these views. As part of one of my favorite hikes in the entire park, we have Fairyland Point, and this one is located down a road close to the entrance. The views in this part of the park are pretty unique, and if you're up for the entire hike, we recommend you do these 8 miles. If not, look at the viewpoint, which comes in at number 6. We started this hike at Sunrise Point, walked to this point, and then made it back to Sunrise Point. So our perspective of this overlook is a little bit different, and you'll find it's one of the lower elevations. You can also use this overlook to access the Rim Trail, which is about 5.5 miles total, or a little under 3 miles to get to Sunrise Point. The hoodoos in this area are great to look at. Alright road trippers, I hope you liked our look at all the Bryce overlooks. Thanks for watching.